Previously in Part 1, Obinna's marriage to Amara ended with tears and disappointment, leaving us with many unanswered questions. Was Amara ever married to another man before coming to Obinna's village? Did she also have a child? Who really is Amara? Let's find out. 2 days after the wedding, Obinna and Amara's marriage was the talk of the village. Their union, which was supposed to mark transformation for both of them, seems to have ended in bitterness, and their life full of sadness and despair. Many of the villagers who still don't like Obinna, despite all his good changes and philanthropic act, are now beginning to make mockery of him. Some villagers called him names like stupid, foolish. How can he marry a total stranger he knows nothing about, someone said. He deserves all the humiliation he is getting, another person said this, laughing out so loud. Perhaps he thought an angel was going to fall from heaven for him to marry? After all the things he did to our women in this village, that serves him right. Amara had tried to have a discussion with Obinna for the past 2 days, but couldn't look Obinna in the eye. How will she face this man, she asked herself. Amara finally gathered the courage to approach her husband. Obinna, now finally willing to have a conversation after 2 days of avoiding her. Amara is willing to share a secret she had been holding on to. She knew Obinna deserved the truth. Obinna, she began, her voice soft but trembling. Before I came here, I had a son. She paused, gauging his reaction, but Obinna only listened, waiting. She continued, he was born in my village. His father was Chima. The name sent chills down her spine, and Obinna felt a jolt of surprise. Obinna took her hands in his, encouraging her to continue. Chima and I were never married, but we were together. He was supposed to protect us, but instead, he became my nightmare. She told Obinna how Chima, once a man she trusted, had turned violent. His temper was uncontrollable, and she and her son, little Kamsi, lived in constant fear. One night, he hurt Kamsi, Amara whispered, her voice breaking. That was when I knew I had to leave. I couldn't stay, for the safety of me and my son. Obinna felt a deep surge of anger at the thought of Amara and her child being hurt. Where is Kamsi now? He asked gently, realizing he had not seen any sign of a child. I left him with my family in my village for his safety, she explained, but my heart aches for him every day. Obinna, who had been so angry, his heart softened, and he promised to bring Kamsi to live with them. The next day, just as they were planning to travel to Amara's village, a stranger appeared at their door. It was Chima, standing tall and menacing, with a dark glint in his eyes. Amara, he sneered, his voice dripping with anger. Did you think you could hide from me? Did you think I would forget? He took a threatening step forward. Obinna stepped in front of Amara, his protective stance clear. Leave, he commanded firmly. She does not belong to you. She is my wife. Chima laughed bitterly. Your wife? She and Kamsi are mine, and I will take what's mine. His eyes burned with rage, sending a shiver down Amara's spine. Obinna's heart raced, but he kept his voice calm and strong. Kamsi deserves better than a father who would hurt him. Amara deserves better. Chima smirked. Oh, you think you will be the better father? You good-for-nothing spoiled brat. You think I have not heard about you? Nobody in your village likes you, Obinna. You don't know what I am capable of. His voice was a threat, and Obinna felt a chill of dread. I will not let you hurt this woman and her son again, Obinna said angrily, telling Chima to leave his house. Amara gripped Obinna from behind, her body tense. She had seen Chima's wrath before, and she knew what he was capable of if he didn't have what he wants. The days that followed were filled with tension. Chima lingered in the village, watching them from a distance, making his presence known in subtle, unsettling ways. He would appear at the market, lurking in the shadows, his gaze fixed on Amara. The villagers grew uneasy, sensing the darkness he brought with him. One evening, Obinna came home to find Amara visibly shaken. He came here, she whispered, her voice trembling. He threatened to kill me if I didn't return with him. Obinna's anger grew. He knew he had to protect his wife and her son, but he also knew that Chima wouldn't leave easily. This was a battle he couldn't fight alone. He went to Chief Okafor, seeking guidance and protection for his wife. The chief called a meeting of the elders, and they agreed that Chima had to be stopped. "This man has no respect for our community," the chief declared. "We cannot allow him to threaten our people." The villagers supported Obinna, vowing to stand by him. Some of the villagers who thought Amara was deceitful and that she married Obinna because of his wealth now understood she was in danger, hence the reason she left her village. But Chima anger only grew more, knowing that Obinna now has the backing of the villagers. That night, he approached their home, hurling threats at the door. "Amara," he shouted, "you will regret this." Obinna opened the door, his face resolute. "Leave, Chima. You are not welcome here." But Chima only laughed, his eyes wild with fury. "You think you can keep her from me?" Chima sneered. "I will take what is mine, and I will see you destroyed." Obinna's patience snapped. "Amara and Kamsi are not possessions. They are my family now. You have no claim over them." His voice was cold, unwavering. Chima lunged at Obinna, his fists raised, his rage finally boiling over. The two men grappled, each struggling to gain control, their fight echoing through the quiet village. The villagers gathered, watching in horror and fear. Obinna fought with a determination fueled by love, while Chima's strength came from raw, uncontrollable anger. Despite Chima's ferocity, Obinna managed to overpower him, pinning him to the ground. "This is your last warning," Obinna hissed. "Leave and never come back." Chima staggered to his feet, breathing heavily, his eyes full of hate. But he knew he had been defeated, at least for now. He spat at the ground and left. Amara rushed to Obinna's side, tears streaming down her face. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice filled with relief and gratitude. "I was so afraid." Obinna held her close, vowing to protect her no matter what. "We will bring Kamsi here, and we will be safe together," he promised. But that night, as they lay in bed, both of them knew the threat was far from over. Chima's hatred was like a poison, lingering in the air, waiting to strike again. The following week, they traveled to Amara's village, determined to bring Kamsi home. But their journey was filled with a sense of foreboding. They arrived at her village, where her family greeted them warmly, though worry clouded their faces. Amara's mother warned her, "Chima will not stop. Be careful." Amara's father hugged her tightly, his expression grim. "You are brave to return, my daughter, but know that Chima's anger is dangerous." They took Kamsi, a quiet but observant boy, and explained that he would be living with them in Obinna's village. Kamsi clung to Amara, his small face full of hope. They returned home, but the peace they sought was short-lived. A few days after their return, Chima appeared again, holding a big stick of fire, his rage hotter than ever. "You think you can steal my son?" he shouted, his voice echoing through the village. "You will pay for this, Adana." Obinna once again confronted him, standing firm. "Leave, Chima. You have no right to threaten them. Kamsi deserves a safe, loving home." Chima sneered, his face twisted with anger. "You think you can replace me? I am Kamsi's father." He lunged at Obinna, shouting, "You will not take him from me." But this time, the villagers had had enough. A group of men stepped forward, pulling Chima away and warning him to never return. Chief Okafor addressed him sternly. "You have broken the peace of our village. Leave now, or face the consequences." Chima's face twisted in fury, but he knew he was defeated. He glared at Amara one last time, his voice filled with venom. "This isn't over," he spat. "I will find a way to make you pay." Chima finally left, his dark presence lifting from the village. Amara, Obinna, and Kamsi breathed a sigh of relief, though they knew they might never be entirely free of his shadow. Obinna and Amara worked together to rebuild their family's peace. They poured love and care into raising Kamsi, nurturing him in a safe and happy home. As months passed, the tension faded, and laughter returned to their home. Kamsi grew stronger and happier, his memories of fear replaced with love and security. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Obinna held Amara's hand, gazing at Kamsi. "This is our family," he said softly. "We are finally whole." And as the flames danced, Amara felt the weight of her past finally lifting. She was free, and her future with Obinna and Kamsi was bright, filled with the love she had once thought impossible. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to drop comments about lessons learned or the inspiration from this story. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. See you on the next video.